Near the peaceful village of Vishnupur, surrounded by tall trees and calm rivers, lived a young man named Ravi. He was hardworking, honest, and full of potential, but he had one weakness: he couldn't stop comparing himself to others. Whenever he saw his friend Karen, who always topped their class, he'd think, "I wish I were as smart as him." When he saw his wealthy neighbor Siddhar, he'd think, "I wish I had as much money as him." Even when he saw someone running fast, he'd think, "I wish I could run like that." Because of this habit, Ravi started to feel discouraged. No matter how hard he worked, he felt like he wasn't good enough. His motivation to study and work began to fade, and his self-confidence sank. He felt trapped, always measuring himself against others. One day, a well-known saint visited the village. He was known for his deep wisdom and understanding of life. Ravi had heard many stories about the saint's teachings, so he decided to approach him and share his problem. "Guruji," Ravi said, "I work hard, but every time I see someone doing better than me, I feel worthless. I don't think I can ever catch up to them. Please help me." The saint smiled gently and said, "Come to the old banyan tree at sunrise tomorrow. There, you'll find your answer." Ravi found this request strange, but he trusted the saint's wisdom. The next morning, as the sun lit up the sky, Ravi made his way to the ancient tree. The saint was already there, sitting calmly beneath its wide branches. "Look around," the saint said. "What do you see?" Ravi scanned the forest and replied, "There are so many different trees. Some are tall, some are short. Some have fruit, while others just have leaves." The saint smiled. "Now tell me, if this mango tree started complaining that it isn't as tall as the coconut tree, would that make sense? And if the coconut tree started whining about not bearing sweet fruit like the mango tree, would that be reasonable?" Ravi shook his head. "No, that would be foolish." "Exactly," the saint said. "Yet the mango tree and the coconut tree don't compare themselves. The mango tree provides sweet fruit, while the coconut tree offers nourishment and shade. They both have their own purpose, and the forest is beautiful because of their differences." Ravi thought for a moment and said, "I see what you're saying. The forest is balanced and complete because every tree has its own role." The saint smiled. "That's one of life's greatest truths. Just like each tree has its own purpose, every person has their own unique path. The mango tree doesn't try to be the coconut tree, and the coconut tree doesn't try to be the mango tree. They thrive by being true to themselves." Though Ravi understood the idea, he still had some doubt. The saint led him to a pond nearby. Fish were swimming peacefully in the clear water, and a bird flew gracefully above the surface. The saint pointed to the bird and said, "Now, what if that fish started complaining that it couldn't fly like the bird?" Ravi smiled. "That wouldn't make sense. Fish are meant to swim, and birds are meant to fly." The saint nodded. "Exactly. So why are you trying to live someone else's life? Your path is your own, and you have strengths that others don't. Comparing yourself to others will only rob you of peace and happiness." At that moment, something clicked in Ravi's mind. He realized that he had been wasting time and energy trying to measure up to others instead of focusing on his own abilities. "So, what should I do?" he asked. The saint replied, "Stop looking outward and start looking inward. Focus on your strengths and improve yourself. Your journey is not meant to match someone else's, it's meant to be uniquely yours." Buddha taught that true peace comes from accepting yourself as you are. From that day on, Ravi stopped comparing himself to others. He started working with a new sense of clarity and confidence. He studied harder, improved his skills, and followed his own path without worrying about how others were doing. Over time, Ravi became successful. He built a thriving business and became a source of inspiration for the entire village. When people asked him how he managed to succeed, he would smile and say, "A fish will never fly, but it can rule the ocean. Focus on your strengths, and success will follow." Years later, Ravi shared his story with others who were struggling with self-doubt. He reminded them that comparing themselves to others was like expecting the sun and the moon to shine at the same time. Each has its own moment, and each lights up the world in its own way. Your strength lies in being yourself, Ravi would say. Trust your path, focus on your journey, and let your true self shine.